Welcome to episode 133 of Ring Takes here. We're going to be joined by Sonny, the Man Eagle Cain here from Wrestling Spotlight as we tackle our Survivor Series recap, looking at what happened with War Games and the title changes that happened and didn't happen. Stay tuned for that, as well as we get into our Monday Night Raw that picked up a little bit of steam from Survivor Series as we get into this wrestling week. Stay tuned.
One, two, oh my gosh, so close. He kicked out. He kicked out. He kicked.
And here we are, episode 133 of Ring Takes here, of course, with Brian and Lewis. I'm Daniel. We are joined with Sonny, the Man Eagle Cain from Wrestling Spotlight with Gerald Bentley, and he'll be on the Pedigree Wrestling Podcast with Maddie Hawkins on December 12th. So check that out, people. Across the pond going to England, Sonny is. Mr. International, he is. But we're here. We're here off the heels of Survivor Series, so we're going to be getting into our Survivor Series and Monday Night Raw recap. A lot of stuff happening in San Diego there at Petco Park in San Diego. Let's get right into it, right off the bat. Not waste no time. Division Take War Games, but who's the masked man? The highly anticipated War Games men's match to close out the night with Bronson Reed, Brock Lesnar, Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, and Drew McIntyre taking on Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, the Usos, and Roman Reigns. The Vision ended up getting the win with the assist of a masked man who was the big burning question leaving from that show. But what did you guys think of the matchup there? And who do you guys think the masked man is?
Okay, so the match itself, it definitely was the better War Games match of the night. We talked about it off the air. They kind of let the star power kind of carry this War Games with Cody, Brock, CM Punk, Roman Reigns. There has been a little bit of history and story between all of them, but literally it was just the star power that carried it. One thing I liked about the match that I was hoping wouldn't be a thing in this year's War Games match is that again, when people came to the ring, only a couple of people went under the ring to actually grab stuff. I forget who it was. Who was it that pulled out the table?
Jimmy.
It was Jimmy. Yeah, and you could tell like right in that moment, it was the perfect time to by that point, like there had been a couple of guys in the ring at that point. Another thing, there were no shark cages, so everybody was coming out of the entranceway, which was a very very unique touch. Aesthetically, it made the match a lot better. Yes, it was funny because I thought Jey Uso was going to be the first competitor, so he can do his entrance through the crowd, since that's what everybody should be waiting for. But I think he came in. I think he was like third, fourth person on the team, and there was a lot of criticism about the spot during the match where like he called for his entrance again. I understand, like it's a War Games match. It needs to be taken more seriously. But this is something Jay has been doing for a while, and even though I don't remember exactly because I was watching the show with my god brother, but was the crowd calling for it, or did he just randomly do it? I can't remember off top of my head.
I think it was a mix of both.
Because it only means something if the crowd calls for it. Now, if the crowd calls for it, then it's kind of just one of those things where it's just like the crowd reaction.
This is the thing that takes me out of it, because this is supposed to be War Games. This is supposed to be a highly heated, anticipated battle between these two teams. And we have enough time in this match to do a yeet off with the crowd.
I mean, it's what he does. I get what you're saying, Daniel. Because in this environment, everything, like you said, it's war. Everyone's supposed to be going at one another. It's supposed to be serious. But when you think about the build leading up to it, I mean, it really hasn't really been that serious in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you can make the case that this match shouldn't even been in a fucking cage. It should have just been a 5-on-5 elimination match. So it already wasn't as serious as it should have been. But as far as the War Games matches go, it was the better War Games match. I think the majority of us predicted that the heels were going to come out on top. Yeah, and yeah. It was a good, yeah. It was the better War Games match, with the exception of a couple of spots here or there. I mean, it was just decent. That's the best way I can describe it.
So funny enough, I'm gonna disagree a little with Brian. I actually thought the women's War Games match was a little more personally, but this was also a good match in terms of like everybody getting their spot. Brock coming in, taking everybody out. Roman coming in doing his thing. Punk,
Roman only worked like 5-10 minutes.
But I think like I was saying before we started, like the stakes just weren't high in this War Games match. There was no, they teased it a little, disgruntledness in like, with Cody and Roman and Punk and like who's the leader and, but it wasn't anything where it's like, okay, like they for sure need to win this match or we can't let Division win, not like in the past with like the bloodline, like, oh, look, they're larger than life right now. We got to take them down. Or
where it actually was like the WWE was on the line.
Exactly.
In those matches.
Or, like things were like, okay, if this group wins, it might lead to the downfall of whoever. Mm-hmm. I mean, it also made sense with Punk taking the pin and kind of giving it to Bron.
Mm-hmm.
I thought was fine. But again, and honestly, I think the shark cages actually, I think just in past War Games matches actually add more story to the match. Because if you think about it, with all, when Punk was in it, when he teamed up with Roman, and they're like, no, this person's next, or no, hold off, and then even back in, I think it was NXT with like when Dakota Kai turned on. Yeah, and it was just like like things like elevated the match, at least storyline. I mean, it worked out great. I mean, it looked great. Obviously, with everybody just coming, but I feel like this shark cage has always kind of added an extra element to the stories in the match.
Brock Lesnar, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker weren't going to fit in a cage.
So that was always my thing with Brock being in this match. I'm like, Brock is so damn huge. I don't know. Yes, I mean, it makes sense to have someone like him in a cage match or whatever, but it was just like, these guys are massive. Like, they're going to just be bumping into each other the whole damn time. So I guess it was also smart to keep them away from each other. But as far as the masked man, I've seen a lot online. Everyone immediately said, oh, it's Austin Theory. It's Austin Theory. And then I'm seeing like, oh, Montez Ford, which I would love and would be the biggest swerve ever. I would hope that would be it. But if we're really, with all this, seeing Seth without the sling and obviously with the fake injury in the past, I really hope it's not that. I really hope, because now at this point, no one's gonna believe any type of injury at this point ever again.
Yeah, that's a once in a lifetime thing that you do. You don't make a habit out of something like that. Yeah.
He's done. Whoa! He's done the heist of the century twice now. Just one but what were your thoughts on the match, Sonny? And who do you think is the masked man?
I think it's gotten better over the years. I think in the fast pace of the marketing of the match that the WWE promoters and promotion runs through while we have the teams that we have in the match. We don't really get, in my personal opinion, enough time to get acquainted with who all is going to be in the match before they're telling us who all is involved in the match. I enjoy seeing an athletic match. I think it was that. It really astonishes me from where War Games originated from, which was back in my day, until now. I mean, it's gone from Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen dominating everybody in War Games, to the Bloodline and Cody Rhodes and whoever else you want to bring in to the show of it. And it's just really had, I use this word on Wrestling Spotlight, a rebirthing, if you will, of what War Games is all about. And it's the one spinoff from World Championship Wrestling that has been in the forefront of the WWE. And when I was in the Mid-Atlantic area, McMahon was promising to keep World Championship Wrestling going, at least in some form, under the WWE banner, and that's why everybody agreed to it. They actually came, the WWE actually came to the workers and said, well, would you go along with it if everyone still had a place to work? So we all went along with it. Then they scalped us at the end and said, well, guess what? It's not going to be in your state. It's going to be states away. But I enjoy seeing the history of it told year in and year out. It's never disappointing. A lot of speculation in who the masked man is. I think from the history of Jon Moxley and Cody Rhodes, it could very well be Jon Moxley at this point. I could take the heat for that. I've been wrong before, but I'm a huge Jon Moxley fan. And oddly enough, guys, I finished up yesterday a Jon Moxley commentary for Wrestling Spotlight tomorrow night. That was about 4.5 pages longer than I'd intended it to be, so I'm going to have to shorten that thing. Jon Moxley has wrestled everywhere. I mean, he's the all-around heel in the business today, in my opinion. So I'm hoping it's Jon Moxley coming after Cody Rhodes. I would like to see Cody Rhodes have some real competition. I don't think I think he's had soft competition for a while now. And I'd like to see him in there with somebody that can really mix it up with him.
You're not the only person saying Jon Moxley. A lot of people on that post that I put on TikTok, follow Ring Takes everyone on TikTok as well as Instagram and X now, Twitter, formerly known as Twitter. Follow Ring Takes on those platforms, but everyone has been saying Jon Moxley, and I've just been like, it's not Jon Moxley, guys.
If I'm right about this, I give a Starbucks coffee for Brian.
Yeah, I got you.
I
got you.
He's literally blading every
week.
week.
You got to have the muffin too.
He's literally blading every week in AEW.
Yeah.
Something that magnified happened between AEW and WWE, it would have been spoiled already, because that's something that is, these two companies have been butting heads for the longest. But let me talk about War Games. War Games.
I don't know. They kept the lid closed pretty tight a few months back when they had Jey Uso and different things involved in it, and how they wanted to go with Cody Rhodes and The Rock and all that. So I guess in the scheme of things, if they decide they want to keep it quiet and closed off, they can. And that's hard to do with today's media. I'm here to tell you, the media can eat you up.
Yes, that's why I'm like, when I see a lot of people saying Jon Moxley, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But the men's War Games match, I thought was pretty standard. They got some good stuff. Punk was kind of like the workhorse in the match and stuff like that. They had the animosity between him and Cody early on, which is interesting, and I'm wondering if that's just a WrestleMania 42 play there happening between those guys. Brock was pretty dominant, obviously, coming in the ring. As I said when Lewis was giving his spiel about it, Roman only worked like 5-10 minutes of the match when he came down. It was a pretty easy night for him. He made his entrance, put up his hand. Everyone put up their hands in the arena, and they kind of got going there. I thought it was something different. I thought somebody would come in and make something happen. And when I saw the stomp and the kick and stuff like that, I'm like, who is that? Everyone's saying Austin Theory. I at first thought it was Austin Theory. I was kind of leaning towards Montez Ford, as everyone else was. So it was either Austin Theory or Montez Ford people were leaning towards. And then I saw that kick, and I keep replaying that kick in my head, and I'm like, that kick looks like Dolph Ziggler's kick. And that's the thing that stopped me and Paul had me caused. I'm still hoping that it's Austin Theory or Montez Ford, but that kick looked like Dolph Ziggler's kick. I don't know if the same size would be Dolph Ziggler of the Masked Man, but I don't know. And then everybody was saying that it was Randy Orton from Survivor Series, Raw versus SmackDown, 2010 or 2009, the video game when he's nasty.
I thought Ross had a fantastic ring introduction match or debut a couple weeks back when he came charging out and almost got it done. And I thought, man, that's happening.
But
here's the thing about it that's interesting. Like whoever the mass figure is, I mean, this could be a situation where they like play it out for a couple of weeks, and then the next time we see him, it could be a completely.
It could be anybody.
It could be anybody. It could be somebody taller. It could be somebody.
I've heard somebody say that, and I'm like, they're already doing that with Americano. Grande Americano. I do not want that.
Imagine it's Chad Gable. Imagine it's Chad Gable.
Yeah, but you know who that is.
They already are doing that type of thing. I hope they're not doing that. People
you know what's funny? I wasn't even analyzing the stomp as much. I was actually analyzing the way he climbed out of the cage.
Yeah.
He kind of hopped up there pretty quick. I was like, this has to be someone young, a little bit high flyerish. I'm like, I don't know.
That's what led me to say it's Montez, because the athleticism of that person jumping out that cage. I'm like, no one's just jumping like that.
Yeah. if you read, I'm sorry, Daniel, but if you read dirt sheets, like we said, everybody, for the majority of the comments I saw under the TikTok, majority of people were saying that it was Austin Theory. But if you're talking about a better story, going with Montez Ford would be perfect. Montez Ford with a Paul Heyman. The only negative I can see from it is if you have Montez, then people might ask, well, then what happened to Dawkins? But then you can eventually tell that story. But Montez would definitely be a lot more exciting because we've been waiting for him to break out for the longest time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can repackage Dawkins. It's not that people always said when you split them up, like what's going to happen to him. I think he's good enough to be on his own. I don't think it's all doom.
At this point,
I don't think it's all doom and gloom for him if they break up at this point in time, or take a break. Let's say that.
Hope it's not a heavy machinery type situation.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily know about like Dawkins being okay, because there's a lot of guys that we talk about right now that aren't being featured properly, aren't being booked properly. Names like Carmelo Hayes. We haven't seen Randy Orton on TV in weeks. Like there's a lot of guys like Santos Escobar. He re-signed. We haven't seen him yet. Like there's so many guys that like aren't being featured that like it kind of gives you false hope that like if Dawkins goes on his own, that he's not going to have as much success as much as obviously Montez would.
I mean, I'll say this: it at least gives him an opportunity to see what he can do. That's the main thing, because it's kind of like these guys have kind of been tied together ever since NXT, and it's like to see, it would at least either say he's going to sink or swim at that moment, because you would have to tell that story of him and Dawkins him and Montez breaking up. You would have to tell that story at some point in regards on his side as well. So,
and if this was Montez, I mean, it would also be a better way than the classical "let me turn on my partner" feud.
That's actually huge.
Agreed.
Yep. But that's the men's War Games match won by the Vision. That will set up some stuff on Monday Night Raw, which we'll get into in a little bit here. But let's move on to the women's side of things. The baby faces are now 5-0 in the women's War Game match. I don't know what to say about this. I'm not upset, but I'm a little disappointed in how this turned out.
Why?
What did you guys think of? I'll go first. Since
you want to go first?
Let's hear it.
Please shit on this.
Because
why are we shitting on the women's War Games match?
Because number one, this team had Lash Legend, Nia Jax. They're supposed to be the powerhouses. Lash Legend had her moment at the end of the match and stuff like that, but I'm sorry. I just know.
What did I say? What did I say during the predictions? What did I say during the predictions? You have AJ Lee in this match. She is not losing. That's the main factor. She's the biggest Everybody else is a factor, but she's the big star, and she was not losing in this match.
I hear that, but it's just such a wasted opportunity. I feel like there's so much more story with the heels winning that matchup than the baby faces.
Nope.
There's a
Shocked
little
me
bit
not because I said the Hills. I just couldn't believe the baby's got 5 and
Yeah,
0.
All right. So
Hooray for the babies, but I couldn't believe it.
Nia Jax and Lash Legend did not lose in War
it.
Games. I'm sorry. They shouldn't lose in War Games.
yeah. So all right.
They
So
also are freshly made, so it's like
Well, no. So let's just
which I get they shouldn't be losing this early on, and I get that.
I'm just gonna say size wise, Liv Morgan. No, not Liv Morgan. Freaking
Alexa Bliss,
Alexa Bliss, AJ Lee,
Io. They're overpowering those women. Like, come on.
It's not. It's called speed, Dan. It's speed.
And with the women, there's a lot of waiting around and stuff like that, and a lot of stuff like where you can clearly see it's not pain inflicting. Like there was one spot with Becky Lynch when I forgot who was stepping on her face. Was it Charlotte?
I remember that spot.
Yeah, she didn't even look like she was in pain. I'm like, come on, guys.
Oh no. I think it was Becky Lynch. Now that actually was a photo trending on X of Charlotte having Becky Lynch in the corner of the cage, and and Becky Lynch's face barely wasn't even touching the cage. See,
I'm like, what are we doing?
See, I honestly feel that this match suffered a lot because of what those women in AEW did with their blood and guts match. All right, like then you put up that photo of all 5 of those women in the ring, standing in the ring, smiling and all. This shit right here, this photo right here of them standing in the ring, smiling and everything. If you put this next to the photo of how the women of the blood and guts match, now they looked bloody in pain. That's what a War Games match is supposed to look like. And I feel like because of what they did, it took a lot away from this match. This essentially was a Team War Games match compared to what the war that those women but then you just said it with the men's War Game match with the whole with Jey Uso. Like it wasn't like with the women in AEW. That was serious. That was a fight. That was a war. With these women, there was no sense of that at all. Now I will give them credit. This War Games match was better than the women's War Games match from last year. But that women's War Games match was the worst one that they've ever done. So that really doesn't say much. All right. So, and again, same critique I had before with last year. Well, what was the majority of the women doing when they made the entrance to the ring? Majority of them were bringing shit with them. Io trash can lid, and then which I didn't even like, by the way, because why did Rhea Ripley bring the trash can when it should have been Io bringing the trash can?
It's a big trash can, Brian. I mean,
pretty heavy trash can, Brian.
And she did a swanton this year.
Yeah, that was nice. But that's another drawback I have with the women though, because that's the only thing people are looking forward to.
Literally.
That's the issue. Like we're just waiting for Io to go on top of the cage, do her spot, and yay. And then it's like, what else is happening? Again, Lash Legend had her moment. And then Becky Lynch had her upcomings with AJ Lee. I feel like those were the only moments in the War Games match. It's like there should have been a lot more for a 45-minute match. Like
this is also why there just has to be more build-up to these matches. It just can't be these makeshift like 1 week to let's fight them and that's it. Yeah. Like there's gotta be. I don't know why we don't get back to the at least when it was like just the Survivor Series match, like the team versus team where they're like attacking each other, taking each other out. Like, it was the whole brand supremacy stuff, but it made it more personal, I guess, and more anticipation where it's just like, oh, look, they took him out this week. Oh, they attacked him here. Oh, they, let's say, walking into the arena before the show starts and they beat the crap out of him. Like,
I was watching an old somebody does like reels. I think I sent it in the chat. does like
when
reels
Raw was taking everybody out with like
Raw
Teddy
SmackDown
Longs.
battle with like JBL and Big Show and stuff like that. I think that
Yes.
was like 09, 10 around that time.
Yeah.
Do that. Just do
Literally.
that. Just have these. The brand supremacy thing doesn't exist anymore. And I get that. They've gone away from that. And I'm just like, the roster is strong enough for you guys to do that again. It's not all doom and gloom. Like that can't happen.
And these War Games matches, you guys have all said it, they're not coming out looking like we went to war or this was a war. It's just like this is just the name of the match, and you guys are just like having little spots here and there, and then just that's it.
Yeah.
When you got the other side literally blood and guts, and they're pouring their blood and guts out. Literally,
this match was like you just said, Lewis, was a prime example of why the concept needs to just be tabled for future Survivor Series events, and only needs to be used similar to like we said before, like how Hell in a Cell is now more important now than what it used to be. It's very simple to to build up a story between two leaders with their own factions, build it up for 3 to 4 months, and then decide, okay, it's a blood feud. Now let's put it into War Games. You don't need to be having these makeshift War Games matches, just putting everybody in there just for the hell of it, just for the spectacle.
That's what I was trying to point out, Brian.
Yeah,
exactly what I was shooting for.
Yeah, exactly. Sonny, you brought it up yourself. I think the very first War Games match, I think it was created by Dusty Rhodes. It was on the Great American Bash tour, correct? And I can only imagine back in those days when you heard the word war, these dudes was literally going out there to entertain the fans and beat the living hell out of one another. That's the true essence of War Games. And these past two, both of these War Games matches for the past 2 years, even have lacked that aggression, that personal feud, that personal stuff that allows us to, as fans, to buy into the violence and everything. Like they completely watered down the concept. So they should just move on from it.
And it's sad because we all want War Games, right? Like we saw War Games in NXT, and we're like, this is a great concept and stuff like that. Yeah. I remember the Elimination Chamber was created because they wanted to have an answer to War Games.
I thought that was the match of the year, personally. Ain't nothing coming on yet. So
they definitely wanted to create something other outside of their own version of War Games, was the Elimination Chamber, and how that brutal was back in the day. Yeah. The cage has always been synonymous with wrestling and WWF, WWE. The cage has always been synonymous. And for them to just not have that type of, I don't want to say violence, but it is violence and action, or at least let me say that.
If that's what you're promoting, how is that not the core of it?
Yeah, I don't understand that. And I get it. I guess everyone's just not trying to get hurt. Everyone's trying to get to the Rumble. Everyone's trying to get to WrestleMania. That's the goal, right?
They don't have the match.
They don't have War Games.
That's just have the 5-on-5. I'd rather than
question about WrestleMania. Should the individual wrestlers get to pick who they wrestle, like Charlotte Flair did when she came back and went after Trish for the world title, or should it be a tournament type event where whoever wins is in WrestleMania then?
I mean, it's gonna be interesting with the Royal Rumble, because they've done it the past couple of years. The Royal Rumble winner picks who they want, and then whoever wins the chamber goes after the other title, or whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting. We've been seeing these promos at WrestleMania 42 with the whole gambling and you pick your player and all this other stuff like that. So it's like that's what's kind of led me to believe that's going to be a tournament at some point. But it's like, what's the point of the Royal Rumble? What's the point of Elimination Chamber if we're not going to do that? So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what path they choose leading up to that. Yeah. I'll say that much. Well, let's keep moving on here from the women's War Game match. Let's get into the women's world title match.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to make a small prediction for next year. I've been looking at Nia Jax now for the past 6 months. Mm-hmm. I think she's truly getting it together. You can tell in social media pics that she's losing her weight. She's concentrating more on her bulk size that she has, which I think is a positive thing.
Mhm.
I think she's turning her boat around a complete 360, and 26 will be her year.
Hopefully. I've always been a fan on Nia Jax on this show. I think she can be a prominent role, especially coming off her Queen of the Ring and then winning the championship last year. So it's like I definitely think that she still has a lot to offer in that role. And
As
especially
that goes, Dwayne Johnson's her cousin. So
yes.
not that hurt down either.
Gotta add that in every time. I remind people, yeah.
I definitely see her turning things around and making go of it, but we're going to see how she does in this tag team with Lash Legend, which I'm intrigued by, and I hope they actually put on a great show as a tag team for however long they're together. So we'll see what happens with her going on in the show. Let's keep moving on here to Stephanie Vaquer retaining her women's world title against Nikki Bella. What did you guys think about this match as Stephanie Vaquer has a challenge against a WWE legend?
I'd like to go first.
Please.
Go ahead.
I still want to put Nikki Bella over, being that she's the wrestler going away, and that's kind of her deal.
Yeah, we didn't guess that one right, Sonny.
It is what it is, and the business has a way of favoring the younger talent, and I think that's the same sometimes because you miss opportunities with the older talent. I was real surprised. Personally, I was real surprised when John Cena won the title for a 17th time at his age. And for him to have been able to play it out the full year like he's done, I think super fantastic. But I just did not pick Stephanie. It's not egg on me per se, but it kind of is. But I thought Nikki Bella was the better pick. I thought she was a stronger worker, and maybe this is the end of it. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah. So what I liked about this match was the fact that the finish was so definite. The fact that Stephanie beat her straight up, kind of in a way that kind of made Nikki Bella look like, yeah, you don't belong in this ring with no Stephanie back here. You're old, you're washed up. You ain't on this girl's level. And I love the way that the match ended in that way. Because I'll say this much about Nikki Bella: the only positive I can say about her in this match is she works better as a heel than she does as a babyface. She's a natural. Yeah. She's a natural heel. The performance was better than that shit that she put up against Becky Lynch earlier this year. But I know I was the one that came on here and said, Nikki Bella from a business perspective, the Bella Army, the Bella brand, all these all the stuff she does outside WWE, bringing in all these fans, all that stuff I said. But like Bruce Pritchard says, at the end of the day, but the bell has to ring. And it ain't like people are clamoring to see Nikki Bella in another match again. I know we talked about last week. It's her last run. This is going to be the end of it. But this is going to be her last run. Just keep her in the mid card. We don't need to see her in the main event anymore. I think she can do more good, more positive for the mid card than being in the main event at this point. I would love to see her try to elevate one of the women's United States or the women's IC title and maybe feud with Maxxine. I think she fits better there than being in the main event. We don't need to see Nikki Bella in the main event.
But we know who switched up and now is all about the Bella Army.
Whoa,
about the Bella Army. And
did she bring out her sister, Lewis?
Did she bring out her sister? Clearly said last week, I want the Nikki Bella title run. No. It works so much better, blah, blah, blah.
No, as a heel.
I just think he wanted the internet to collapse and everyone to be pissed off. If they had put the title on Nikki Bella on top of all the shit, all the negative we were just talking about with the other War Games matches, that probably would have made this the worst event of the year if they had done that.
No, and so I also I get it. And I understand the point of if they were to have actually had her win, the amount of heat she would have had would have been crazy. But for me, I always look at it from the perspective of like a person winning the title and at least having not saying that each person that wins the title has to have like a year title run, but like you need at least 4 for defenses before you drop it. Like, come on. So
Get a
with
little
this only
runway.
being Stephanie's like second title defense, I did not see her. And honestly, this whole turn with Nikki again, and I don't know if this is just an issue with that we've mentioned before of just so many PLEs, Saturday Night Lives, where it's just like it's only 2 weeks to prep for the next thing. Every 2 weeks, boom, here's the next thing. Every 2 weeks, it's like, I think that's becoming a consistent problem because if you look at this build, you had them being friends for 2 weeks and then boom, she turned and boom, one more attack and then there's the PLE. It's like there's no.
I think
build
I've said
anymore.
this before. I'm tired of the women's storylines always just revolving around, hey, they used to be friends and they're friends backstage. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't care about that. Tell me a story.
There's
like
so
with
many
like
other that you can use.
like that situation works with Io and Rhea right now. Like the history
Yeah.
that they have being competitors, being a tag team, if they win the tag team
NXT,
title,
all that stuff.
Yeah.
whatever happens after that, and they kind of tell that story, that's a little bit more believable and a little bit more hitting home.
And
Nikki
Bailey,
Bella
I'm
just-
tired of Bailey. So in her story,
Nikki
I'm just
Bella-
burned out with it. I'm ready for it to end one way or the other.
Nikki Bella just came back, 4 months ago?
Mhm.
She had the feud with Becky in September over the they fought or whatever. I don't know, but
Yeah.
there's just not enough meat on the bone with those type of storylines. With now she's betraying her. It's like we don't care. We knew that was going to happen.
Like you guys knew each other for like a month.
That's what I'm saying. What kind of friendship was this?
Oh no, she turned on her. Like we haven't seen this happen. Like, come on.
She turned on her own sister. We
she's
know
a fucking villain. Like,
Like that was actually a big like what? But like this whole like just have her if anything what they could have done, hey, like you could have had them be all friendly and then Nikki like, hey, can I get a title shot? Oh yeah, beats her and then shake hands at the end.
Yeah.
Boom, attacks her then is like, nah, screw it. Like be that type of heel. Don't just do the whole let me turn on you and that's it.
The stuff that
you probably could have actually gotten another match out of them if
but just not enough meat on the bone. Again, I guess it was just another title defense for Stephanie Vaquer. They're setting up some stuff on Raw. Again, I said it from the beginning. She should have either fought Roxanne Perez or Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that.
That would have been a better matchup between the women from Mexico. They're all from Mexico.
It's coming. I think it's coming though.
Oh no, wait, no. Stephanie Vaquer is from Chile, but still, but she retains. I guess that's okay. Nikki Bella. I don't know what they're gonna do forward. I think she's gonna be in the Rumble. I think she's gonna try to hang on.
Of course, she's gonna be in the Rumble.
I think so, but we'll see what happens with that. Let's keep moving on to probably a positive on the night.
The only positive. Other than
we got Liv Morgan returning to help Dominik Mysterio win back the IC title. We all picked Dom in this matchup, so there's that. But what did you guys think about this matchup? The return of Liv Morgan to help Dominik Mysterio.
Can I go first on this one?
Yeah, go ahead, Lewis.
I thought this match was great. The energy obviously was great. Honestly, this match probably could have been the main event. Honestly, yeah, exactly. Like this was a true heel versus babyface match. You had all the elements of all of the Judgment Day literally coming out to help Dom, and John still, I like how they kind of like talked on Monday, like, oh, he was prepared for all of it, but he wasn't prepared for this, which great comeback. Great to see Liv back. I'm not gonna lie, they did get me when she came out and smacked him. And like for a hot, like at first I was like, why? I was like, he didn't do anything.
They got me and my god brother too. We both kind of perked up. Like, what?
I know. And I'm like, how are they going to spin this? Because this doesn't make sense. Like, he didn't cheat. He didn't do anything. But again, they got me. You know, she jumped on him, and once she jumped on him, I was like, oh, here it comes.
Mm-hmm.
And it just worked out great. And I thought, you know, this is what John Cena should have been doing the whole time. Just, you know, yes, he won the IC title, but still giving, you know, to these younger guys, you know.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He should be facing the Carmelo Hayes, the Javon Evans. Like, he should be giving all these guys the opportunity. And maybe they might take the loss, but like here you got Dom winning and just being poised as literally the future, you know. So and then, you know, following up with this interested to see where the Judgment Day is going to go. Again, I think I've been the one who's been praying for the blow up of the Judgment Day, but it still looks like that's not even close to happening yet.
You know, some of us actually like the Judgment Day, Lewis, and like where they're going. Thank you very much.
Talk back last year, and let's go back to those videos where we were talking about.
We've all been in a consensus that the Judgment Day
kind of just like hurry up.
just disband at this point. Even before this whole Dominik and Liv, so I think we were all on that train of saying, "Hey, this needs to end."
Yeah.
But I thought the match was great in San Diego, Dom hometown. I think Nia Jax is from there too, if I'm not mistaken. But
I think
that was a good match.
No, it's Bailey San Francisco, right?
Yeah, she's San Fran. But I thought it was a great match. Really put the spotlight on Dom, who's been the workhorse in WWE for the past couple of years. To get that moment against John Cena in his hometown was a nice touch. Looking at Liv Morgan return, they did get me with a slap because I'm like, okay, she didn't like Dom getting close to Roxanne, even though they kind of went away from that story a little bit.
Yeah.
There were some moments where she did give him chicken tendies and stuff like that and helped him win his matches, but they kind of slow burned that out, so it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So definitely got us. And then especially when she jumped on John Cena, I was like, she's gonna do something to John, because it's like that's a little extra. If she wanted to just go after Dom, she would have just took him down and then left the ring. But the fact she went and jumped on John, I was like, she's gonna do something. Lo and behold, she low blowed him, setting up Dom to get the win. So I thought it was a good match. And John Cena's last PLE match, putting over a young guy like Dominik Mysterio, I thought it was cool. Thought it was fine.
Yeah, like we said, like, why was the match good? Why was this match the highlight of the night compared to the other three? Because there was a fucking story in there. There was a story in the match that everybody understood. Everyone could somewhat relate to. And they had elements of it that got us surprised for a moment, and then they kind of went back on it. Like, those are all elements of a story in professional wrestling, something the other three matches did not have. One thing that I noticed in the match, and me and my godbrother were laughing about it, John Cena is so giving, man. Like, with the fact that he took both Roxanne and Raquel's finishes. My godbrother joked. I was like, my godbrother was joking during the match. He was like, damn, he's putting everybody over on the way out. How? Everybody over on them. Yeah, John Cena is so giving, and there was another spot during the match. With I think Dominik went to go do a Hurricane Rana, and then like they him and Cena both landed funny, like he landed on his neck, made people think he was legitimately hurt. Only to find out it was a ruse, so he can get attacked. I don't know if it was something that they had planned out, or they worked it out on the fly. Whatever the situation was, it came off perfectly. Because they made Dom look like the heel that he is. The fact that he needed to use Roxanne and Raquel to give him the advantage, and then pop up and then go for his finish. Those were elements that made the match so good. And like Lewis just said, I mean, the fact that there was an actual story in this match that everybody enjoyed. I mean, it should have been the main event. I mean, it was the highlight of the night.
Mm-hmm. Thoughts on the match, Sonny?
I like the storyline to the match. I'm a bit tired of Liv Morgan and Dirty Dom at this point. I'll go on record as saying it. Liv, as his girlfriend, has a way to me of playing Dom down when she's around him. I don't really get into that. I think her, Roxanne Perez and Dom would be the better couple, but that's me. I agree with Brian that it was the highlight of the night because it had story to it and it brought it all together. I'm tired of seeing Dom needing outside help. Dom can stand on his own damn 2 feet, and I'm tired of seeing him portrayed as somebody still struggling after 4 years in the mainstream lineup of just being this dependent still on people. If they would go ahead and let him break out and stand on his own for a couple of weeks, we would see a whole different Dom than what we've seen in the past, I think.
I think that's the whole burn of the Judgment Day, right? We're waiting to see this breakup happen, right? Like it's been months, years, even, and I think that's something that can help Dom when he turns babyface, right? Like he's going to be the opposite of what he is right now, of being this conniving heel, this slithering heel.
And they're all great. I mean, please don't take that the wrong way. As individuals, they are phenomenal. Just as a group effort, I don't think they work as well together because the Judgment Day and Dom are sort of, to me, on the same playing field, and they step on each other's feet a little bit as being in the tight group that they have, and it even spills out into the Raw scenes in on Monday Night Raw that way, that they argue and bicker back and forth. So break them up, let Dom stand on his own, and let's see what the young man can do. He's only been there 4 years, guys. I mean, he's got a lot to offer still.
Yeah. We all want to see Dom do good. I think that's we want to see him break away from this Judgment Day, or even if he's still a heel, at least break away from the Judgment Day.
Well, we saw it for like a couple of weeks where he had those matches with Rusev and Penta, where he was just like, he was still a heel and pulling out all the old tricks, the boot, the bell, the hammer. Like he could do all that on his own.
So he doesn't need Grande Americanos to help him. Which are probably going to get more of that. We hope he gets together soon and they can actually do that match down there. But Survivor Series, Brian and Lewis cleared the board 4-0. Me and Sonny took a chance there, going 2-2 on the women's war game match in the World Heavyweight title there. But Survivor Series is what it was, but let's get into.
Okay, before we get into Monday Night Raw, I just want to say one more thing about Survivor Series. To me, the show as a whole was just okay, but in my opinion, just okay is not going to cut it. Again, if you're having people pay fucking $30 a month for this ESPN shit. See, you know how I feel? WrestlePalooza was strike 2. Survivor Series is. WrestlePalooza was strike 1. Survivor Series is strike 2. The next PLE is the Rumble. If they fumble the Royal Rumble, I'm canceling my ESPN subscription. And then they're sending me your login, and I'm gonna watch all the PLE. I'm not spending $30 a month anymore if I'm gonna get half-ass bullshit like that. Like
Brian,
that's 2 out of 3 events now where they've half-assed it. Like, no, I'm not doing it anymore.
Brian, why didn't you listen to Stephanie McMahon and get the VPN?
They're going around now where fans are saying that Triple H is getting some ill vibes toward ESPN and their association with the WWE at this point. So maybe if they stay on board, we will see the better PLEs. I hope so. I'm not in that yet. I don't want to pay that kind of money for sucky PLEs.
Yeah, and I think there was something there with Freddie Prinze Jr. saying how ESPN is not happy with WWE.
Yeah.
And WWE responded is, what does Freddie Prinze Jr. have to do with wrestling?
Which that response is just so childish. That means that there's truth to what Freddie.
Yeah, but my whole thing is that Freddie Prinze Jr. worked for you guys in the late 2000s, like 2009, 2010, whatever range that was. He was a writer for you guys, so he did work for you guys. So to come out back with that response, but it just speaks to how volatile this ESPN and WWE deal has been. It's like we are paying some of us $30+
Goose, how much is the VPN?
I don't even know. I'm over here on free TV, so
if 2026 starts off with a disappointment, I'm done. I'm done. I'm
think
canceling my sport. Because I'm not spending my money if you're gonna give me half-ass. I literally only have this just for these PLEs. And if you're gonna put up half-ass shows, then I'm not gonna invest my money in it anymore. Like, it's not fair.
At least Peacock gave you The Office. So like we
no, at least Peacock has a whole bunch of other content that I watch, me and my wife and my family watch. That like I can actually keep Peacock, like Chicago PD, Law and Order, all that stuff, all those shows that me and my wife are fans of. So Peacock still has value to me, even if those PLEs aren't good. But ESPN, literally, I literally only have it just for the PLEs. So
I mean, I have it for basketball, but it's like I'm starting to regret buying it. I'm gonna be serious. I'm sorry, WWE, but maybe we can figure out the VPN situation. And
this is why I'll usually I wasn't able to watch it live, but I shut off my notifications. I wasn't going online. I was like, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna watch it, and then
I don't know, but I'm kind of siding with Brian on this one.
Yeah, you have to rumble sus. One of y'all's gonna have to swing me a login, swing me a
like, cause it's getting rough, rough. But we'll see what happens with the next PLE. But let's pick it up with an actual good Monday Night Raw that took off there. I forgot where they were. Damn it,
Sacramento. It was Arizona.
Yeah. Someplace in Arizona. Somewhere in Arizona. But we pick it up on Raw. Just going to head right into it. Braun Breaker calls out CM Punk, and a title match is set for January 5th. I guess this is going to be a new yearly thing with Raw and Netflix, where they kind of kick off the first week in January there. But what did you guys think of Braun Breaker's promo on CM Punk?
That man grabbed that microphone and said, "I'm here, and I'm ready for the fucking main event." That entire promo, he let it all out. I mean, he sounded just like his uncle. The aggression, the fact that he brought up a backstage conversation that him and CM Punk had, and I could tell it was legit, because you could tell by the passion and the fire in his eyes. But when he was talking about it, about cutting the promo with the big boys, I mean, that's exactly what he did. Now, if anybody says that he's not ready for the main event right now, I don't know what you're seeing. I don't know what you're watching. Braun Breaker is ready for that next level right now, and I think that was the one flaw in his game that people brought up was the mic skills and the communication. The fact that he sounds just like his uncle. But he put all that to rest on this past Mondays. If he does win the world title, that shouldn't be surprising to anybody. I honestly think that's the direction they should go in now as a result of this promo. Yeah. That's how good it was.
Yeah. This was to piggyback off of that, this was the piece that was missing for Braun. And I think it's also the fact that he hasn't been the main character in the situation. He's been the highlight. He's been the guy tackling people. He had his moment in the Rumble. He did have his little run with the IC title, but it was kind of.
You want to know what it's very reminiscent of? Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
But Roman Reigns first came in the Shield. He was the highlight guy. Yep.
Yeah. But I think this segment right here kind of has elevated him. So like, okay, he's coming, he's hungry, he's been hungry, but now we're actually getting more character out of him. We're seeing what he's really about. I mean, we all obviously know that everybody watched NXT 2.0, me being one of them, but I did catch like his promos down there, and when he was having his feuds, and he's good on the mic, and he's a great heel. I think he's finally getting that time, and I think the more they let him talk, the more he has that natural intensity. So that's gonna come real easy, and you feel it, like you really feel it. And if he uses that to like every time, it's gonna work wonders for him. And like Brian said, I would not be surprised if they put the title on him and kind of just like, put him in a sink or swim. Like, all right, here it is. Like, are you going to actually carry the ball or not?
Yeah. The argument of whether he's ready or not, it honestly is dead now. Like he's ready. In my opinion, he's ready.
Thoughts on Braun Breaker's promo, Sonny?
I thought it was a great promo. I think the longer I'm in the wrestling analysis position, the more I tend to look at it. I think a little bit like Triple H is doing. They had to take Bron out of the mid-level card and then work in a main event atmosphere. Then they had to see how he would do under that kind of pressure. Now, I'd like to inject something here. I believe on this show, and I know on Wrestling Spotlight, a few weeks back, I said Logan Paul will be working with Paul Heyman, and everybody said no. And here we are with Paul Heyman and Logan Paul. And I got that from a backstage interview where Logan Paul made a comment and Paul Heyman gave Paul the eye during his interview. So I look for the little things in things to get to the bigger things. I'm very meticulous that way about how I go about my day and my business. And you had to bring him in, Bron Breakker in such a way that he wasn't just another powerhouse player. You had to show he could slow down his work during the matches. You had to get him in longer matches. That's a little problem they're having with Jey Uso right now. Jey Uso loses wind during his main event matches, and H has gone to him time and time again, I need you to pick up your wind. I would be out there doing like I'm doing, running just about every day to pick my wind up if I was in that position. But H is looking to see how far he can take him and how far he can push him. Bron Breakker, from the day he walked into WWE, in my professional opinion, had a rocket on his back like Penta, and he has just skyrocketed up to the main event. He, Penta, Logan Paul, Ray Phoenix, they're going to be your stars of tomorrow in WWE, and they are getting there today, in my opinion.
Kind of piggybacking what you said, Sonny, about putting him in those moments, right? And it's kind of reminiscent of thinking of a Jey Uso, thinking of a Dominik Mysterio, where those guys had to get that work rate in, right? Working those tag team matches, working those mid-card matches for a while. Then you give them the opportunity at the main event. And what these guys have been able to do, Dominik Mysterio, Bron Breakker, Jey Uso, they've been able to perform there, even though we have our drawbacks with Jey Uso. He was able to have that WrestleMania moment and have that big match on the spotlight, right, at WrestleMania, right? So he did have that moment. Was his run a little short? Yes, but he did have that moment. Now with Bron Breakker, you have the pedigree, you have the history of him. He's been in NXT. He's actually worked his way up, and now he's can't miss. And he was standard on the promos and NXT and stuff like that, but to actually see it on the main roster and actually see him have that moment, that pipe bomb moment for him in his career, because that was basically a sink or swim moment for him in that moment. And
his moment of the year, in my opinion, was the interview. The interview has just brought him out. It's been, this is who I am type interview, and this is what I'm capable of doing. Is what I got.
It's not just the little catchphrases or the little barking anymore. That was a moment. It was something that was different. It was something that you can feel. It was basically him gunning for CM Punk, and the way that he went at CM Punk and stuff like that. Just want to say rest in peace to Larry, their dog, AJ Lee, and CM Punk, their dog, passed away. So that's been a big thing. So I know losing a family animal in your family is not cool, not fun. So thoughts on them. But just for him to go at CM Punk and setting up this match for January 5th, I'm intrigued now. Like, I'm instantly intrigued. And he talked about pinning CM Punk in the middle of the ring at the at Survivor Series and War Games. Like, that's adding a notch to his belt. And now he's gunning for CM Punk. Like, he's gunning for the main event. It's no longer, hey, I'm in the mid card. Hey, we're in tag team. We're figuring things out. Like, no, I'm stepping up and stepping out and going after CM Punk. That's the main thing I got from this. And it was awesome. So kudos to Bron Breakker for seeing that moment, seizing that moment, and taking it to the next level.
Yeah, in a way, it's very similar to his run Bron Breakker's run in 2.0, because in NXT 2.0, he also was in a War Games match there, pinned the champion at the time, which was Tommaso Ciampa, and then the very next event, he got a title match, and they finally won the NXT title. So it looks like it might follow that same exact script, which again, putting the world title on him right now, it actually would be a good way to kind of freshen things up. Not that saying that what CM Punk has been doing has been bad, but you kind of need kind of like a spark when you start off the new year, and Bron Breakker winning the title would be that positive spark.
Even if he doesn't win the title, I think if he has a great showing in that matchup, it's kind of like what Sonny's been talking about with Cody Rhodes. Is like you need somebody to go out back and forth with, and at least if you have the capable dance partner, as somebody has the juice right now with Bron Breakker, it will definitely set up things for that world heavyweight title. It will make it look like better, especially him being a player in that category, with all the guys who potentially Roman, Cody, Brock. He would be interjected into that talk as well. So more players you have in the main event, it's going to be pretty good. But let's keep moving on here. The Judgment Day on the same page. We saw the return of Liv Morgan and joining the Judgment Day and kind of being the glue for Judgment Day. What did you guys think about them gaining the services of Liv Morgan back and the main event tag team match that happened at the end of the night where the Judgment Day were standing tall, Raquel, Roxanne, and Liv Morgan all standing there over everybody?
Well, I think we all can agree that Judgment Day kind of missed Liv Morgan. I mean, I know we've all been sitting up here since last year, just counting down the days of when are they finally going to break up. They've been dragging this whole thing out for months and months and months and months and months and months. But then when Liv got
it seems like it's been
years. Yeah, exactly. Kind of has been years. But
marriage is ended soon.
Yeah, definitely. but then when Liv got hurt and the story slowed down again, and there really was no interest in the Judgment Day. Maybe outside of Dom winning the AAA Mega Championship, probably. Other than that, like we really didn't really care too much for the Judgment Day. I mean, Roxanne. She was being featured week after week in matches. We were happy about that. But as far as the story with Finn and Dom and them not being on the same page and everything, like we were just hoping and praying for something, and then Liv, and now that Liv is back, they kind of got a little bit of a spark now, and they kind of set it up so now that Liv is back. Now the Judgment Day can be that legitimate group again, and we saw how Raw ended. And now I guess apparently the women's tag team division is stacked now because apparently we got all these teams. everybody wants the titles now. And and I loved when Roxanne picks up the title, gives it to Liv, then Liv hands it back to her, pretty much telling them like, yeah, you guys go after these. I'm going after the main title, and you never know. The way things are looking right now, they may reestablish the Judgment Day again. I mean,
what I'm thinking they're going to do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're going fronting a little bit more for us. I don't think they're finished by no means.
Not that. But let me say this about this moment with the Judgment Day. At least it sets them on the same page in terms of, hey, we're going for gold now. I don't know about on the men's side what they're going to do with JD and Finn because it looks like Finn's a little upset that Liv is back. But overall, Raquel, Roxanne, and Liv are on the same page. And it looks like Liv is also gunning for Stephanie Vaquer now that she's back, right? So now
that's what I'm saying, guys. They seem to have it together, whereas the other side don't.
Yeah, you
I don't
never.
think that's all acting. I think that's probably some clashes in real life involved in that. So.
Yeah, I don't know that. Like, yeah, it's good that Liv's back, and she's like, let's get back on track and get gold again. We were money out, but either break up or just let's get a new cycle of the Judgment Day.
Wait, you want another member to add it to the Judgment Day?
No, if anything, just because of the whole butting heads with Finn and all that stuff, like Liv, you never know. Liv could do like, hey, when I was away, I found some new, brings new people in, whoever the hell it could be, whoever needs a push.
They did that with Roxanne when she first came.
Yeah. Luz, I was actually just about to say maybe they're rebuilding the Judgment Day in a sense because before Liv got hurt, they were telling that story with Roxanne giving Dom chicken nuggets and stuff, trying to make it seem like Roxanne was trying to take her spot. Then Liv gets hurt for all those months. So maybe they want to get back to that story, but they kind of got to rebuild the Judgment Day as a force again to then tell the story again. I guarantee probably a couple of months you're probably gonna have Roxanne wooing Dom again with more chicken nuggets, more nonsense, and eventually they're gonna get back to where they were supposed to be before Liv got hurt.
Yeah, because I felt it was so much stop and go with the whole Finn thing. Like they would, it looked like at one point he was plotting or like doing all this stuff to like, hey, look, this person's not doing that, or look, because of Liv, we're not getting this, or kind of like playing like, hey, look, this isn't working out because Liv is over here trying to run stuff, and like it felt like Finn was either trying to like implode it to like, rebuild his own Judgment Day, whatever it is, but then they just let it go. And then, they got the tag titles again at one point, and then it's just like whatever hints we get, they don't follow through on. So it's like we never really know what is going on. And I feel like Brian said, that whole initial story with Liv, maybe they're trying to redo it now that she's back. But I know that also kind of put a damper on whatever they were planning to do at that point.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sonny. You had something to say?
Judgment Day on their own has really impressed me the past 6-8 months since Liv Morgan's been out. And God bless her. She's back. She's recovered from her injury. She's a good-looking gal, in my opinion, in terms of easy to look at, easy to watch wrestle in the ring. But these grown A-plus personality men, which is what we're dealing with, don't need to be so grouped together. And Judgment Day has been able to come out and show me three or four different matches individually that they can stand on their own 2 feet and wrestle. Let them do so.
I mean, JD McDonough had that match against Ilya Dragunov. What was it, last week or 2 weeks ago for the U.S. Open Challenge? Like, that was a great match.
Yeah.
Finn, we already know what he can do at the main event level. Dominik Mysterio has been awesome. But again, as we said all the time, they got to tell these stories. And I'm actually intrigued by this one and seeing how it goes, because it's like, okay, now we have everybody healthy. It looks like there's a clear path. You got Lyra and Bayley getting reinterjected into the tag division as well in that matchup. There's supposed to be Rhea and Io taking on Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. That ended up in DQ with the Judgment Day coming out. And the Kabuki Warriors coming out. It looks like it's stacked now, right? Only one woman returned, and now we have this whole storyline of all these women. Now with this matchup out of nowhere, right? Like, it's crazy to think that Liv Morgan's return has brought all this back, but it's like, well, at least we have the Judgment Day on TV, Kabuki Warriors, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bayley and Lyra are still in there. So it looks like we're going to be getting some jam-packed, and hopefully this leads to WrestleMania 42 in some capacity of all these women getting on the stage. So I'm very interested to see where these stories go. And also can't forget Liv Morgan going after Stephanie Vaquer for the world title. It looks like that's what's happening. So it looks like there's a pecking order, at least in the Judgment Day, at least on the women's side. So that's fun to see. But let's get into some more Raw notes here before we get out of here. Where's my image? There's one thing I definitely wanted to talk about. Where's the image? Come on, bring it up. Come on, there we go.
This. Yep. Yeah, I give it up for this.
I've been saying forever that Natalya Neidhart is awesome and that she needs something to sink her teeth into. And arguably this whole training segment that Maxxine Dupri is going to the Hart Dungeon and training with Natty Neidhart is awesome. And I wish they did this before Maxxine won the IC title.
Yeah.
Because then it would have gave a little bit more credence to her actually beating Becky Lynch. But of course, whatever the case may be, they're finally doing something with them. And I'm happy for that. I'm happy for Daddy. Happy for Maxxine Dupri. It's going to show an edge to Maxxine Dupri and show how she's actually been improving in the ring week to week and stuff like that. So, but what did you guys think about that whole segment between Natty Neidhart and Maxxine Dupri?
Let's just pray. Let's just pray to God she doesn't come out, and the first thing she does is betray.
Yeah, please,
Like a week.
please let that play out. Let that play out for at least until WrestleMania. Please just let that play out. That partnership between,
Let it cook a little bit. Let it
yeah,
simmer.
let it cook. Like just have Natty in her corner for this reign. And then if you want to do a turn, fine, do the turn, and then have them face each other at WrestleMania for the IC title. Like, just let it play out, because that promo package was the most legit that Maxxine has looked since she's been in the WWE. Like now, man, if they do a couple of weeks of this, now when you see Maxxine in a match, you're not going to necessarily think that she's automatically going to lose, because a lot of fans felt that even though she beat Becky Lynch and she won the title, there was still like that thought about her that, like, yeah, she's still this innocent character. Yes, she's gotten better in the ring, but yet she's so innocent. She's so perky with the smile and everything. Now you've given her. Now if you do a couple more weeks of this, now you're gonna give her an edge, like Daniel just said. Now you're gonna make her more legit, more vicious. And having the low key legend in her corner is not gonna hurt at all. So like I said, I just hope they just keep this going. Like make this a series. Like
I know I've given Natty some criticisms in the past.
Understatement. No, that's an understatement, bro. Some criticism. See?
But hey,
unadulterated hate.
No, not hate. I've never denied her England.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's always been there. It's always something I've admired. But this, and I mean, she's shown it outside of WWE that she is more. She can bring more aggression, power, and I like how. She's been presenting herself as like I'm a badass. I like the stuff and training she has done is incredible, and that needs to be like the focal point. That's something that should be brought to light, and the fact that they're finally doing it, and I really hope they execute it right. Mm-hmm. This could be her resurgence. This could be her, another prime championship run where she's kind of doing this whole. Coming out here, submitting everybody, tapping people out, out wrestling, maneuvering every female. Like
what they were trying to give Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey all that time.
What they should have done with Shayna Baszler the moment she came to the main roster. But let's not get into that. But I hope that obviously, the focus is on Maxxine, but we got Natty helping her out. But I hope this develops into which could potentially be a great story for the both of them.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on it, Sonny?
By and large, I agree with what Brian said. I think if we have more storytelling involved in things, it brings more excitement to the match and the build up, and why do we have a heel and a babyface working, which is why I've heard Brian and Lewis ask all night long, rather than have 10 people in front of each other who we know very little about. The one thing I did get from the War Games match with Charlotte Flair was it was a surprise seemingly to everybody there that the babies won it. And I got that, but I do agree with Brian that they should have looked a bit more best up. This year, the word for me in WWE has been rivaling. They seem to be rivaling more than they have in years past. By rivaling, I mean they seem to be working 3 and 4 matches per time with each other as opposed to just 1 or 2. And as a result, the fan is getting the better deal out of it mostly. I don't think a one-time story is going to sell for the rest of that character. I think we need to build onto it and see where it could go, like Lewis is somewhat saying, and let's just see what happens. I think creatives sit in a room and they go down their whiteboard sometimes and things get overlooked accidentally. Heck, they've got 8-9 creatives in a room watching all this. And that's what I've gotten from watching WWE Unreal. I'm real surprised how technically serious these guys take everything that happens on the show. I've been impressed with it. So hopefully we'll get to see more of this story develop in weeks to come.
As I always said, I always loved storytelling like this because it's giving that student teacher vibes, right? Where you can kind of push this out a little bit more, give it a little bit more road to run with, and then tell that story. If Maxxine gets jealous of Natty or something like that, or if Natty gets jealous of Maxine's success and stuff like that, then you can have them bump heads. So that's something that they can definitely do. And I wish they did this with Natty with a lot of people, actually. But the fact that it's happening between these two, and we're seeing the improvement of Maxxine Dupri, we're seeing the low-key legend now be brought to the main roster, which we've been asking for because we've seen it in Bloodsport, I believe, Josh Barnes' Bloodsport, and then we saw it in AAA a couple times when she went down there to do it. So to now bring that to the main roster is nice to see Natty get that shine, and hopefully it helps Maxxine Dupri develop as a character. Hopefully it helps Natty get back into the swing of things and continue to build up that IC title. That's the one thing that we want with all of this. Let's keep moving on here to what did I want to move on to? AJ Styles and Dragon Lee taking on a New Day in a pretty good match between those two teams. What did you guys think of that matchup between those two teams?
I thought it was fantastic. The athleticism in that match was off the chain. AJ's partner did a move where he did a drop kick onto the back of the opponent, dangling off the top rope, and I thought, man, that's wrestling. They are just cooking as a tag team, and that's what I like about them. They're taking on any and everybody, Brian, and that's what I look for when I look for who's going to be here next 6 months from now to next year. What are they doing as the champions? And again, notice how much storytelling are we getting from these guys? Are we getting to know these guys? And for me, all across the board, the answer is yes to everything. We're getting to know them. AJ Styles has mumbled something about retiring here after this year. I hope he doesn't. I like him. I think as long as he's got a good, energetic partner, he could go another year or two, maybe. So.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sonny. It was an excellent match. My one takeaway from it is actually in regards to the New Day. At this point, I think the New Day should just go back to being baby faces. Once Big E came out and pretty much said that his career was finished. I mean that pretty much put a kibosh on the heel turn for me, because I always felt that, I think we all felt that with this heel turn, that there was the hope that Big E was going to be cleared. That way, this heel turn could really play out. But now that we know that the odds of him coming back are really slim to none now. I mean, the heel turn is kind of unnecessary now. I mean, at first they did get a lot of steam. They were getting booed out of the building for the first month. But now at this point, it's just like they should just bring the old New Day back. I mean, there's no point. There's no payoff for it anymore. I mean, Big E's not coming back. There's no payoff. So you might as well just go back to being the good old positive New Day again.
I really don't even know where the New Day goes from this. I mean, and they also got Grayson Waller with them, which is just another kind of like why. But and even he's one that I feel is kind of overlooked a bit. I think after watching his Chris Van Vliet interview, like he's definitely somebody who's hungry, who has a lot of charisma, and is just like not really being utilized. But I mean, I'm still a huge fan of the New Day. They still look great in the ring. They like physique wise, they look phenomenal. But it's kind of like, what is it? What are we really doing? I guess. But as far as the match goes, AJ Styles is still phenomenal. The things he does in the ring is phenomenal, and the fact, I mean, obviously being in a tag team. Maybe makes the workload a little bit easier and, not having to go 20, 30-minute matches, all on his own and everything, but again, this is another highlight of just like a veteran, giving to someone like Dragon Lee, who's younger, get more highlight, get more exposure, make more people, aware of all these great luchadors, and not just think just Rey Mysterio. Obviously, Rey Mysterio is still amazing, can still go, but it's like we got these other luchadors. Let's utilize them. Let's let them grow and become stars in their own rank. But the fact that obviously that one move that Sonny was talking about, where he drop kicks him and then catches him in the Styles Clash, was peak, like just like something AJ would just do and like they would like come up with, so and I like that they're actually they're even being vocal, like we want to be fighting champions. Let's defend every week on Monday. I'm like, that's what they need to do. That's like the simplest
not complicated
thing. Just defend the titles. Like I can't. When was the last time the tag titles on SmackDown were defended?
I know that's the reason why I'm like begging like the Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, all those teams that were over there that made that division, come over to Raw now, because we got the champions to feud with now.
But it's crazy to think that during what was it SummerSlam they had that ladder match?
Yeah.
Around SummerSlam, yep. They had a couple matches.
They were doing all this great stuff.
Yeah,
going into the summer, and it's just been quiet.
Yeah. I think we can honestly say that ladder match was like a gift and a curse, because it was a great ladder match, it was entertaining, but ever since that ladder match, the tag team division has just plummeted, and then on top of that, Andrade is not with the company, but we know that situation. So like, that match was a gift.
I'm just gonna say this: I thought it was a great tag team match between these guys. All guys worked great. Dragon Lee has kind of been rejuvenated with this team with AJ Styles. Again, I liked how they're going to be defending champions, and especially with AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. I think they said they wanted to take on the War Raiders, who we haven't seen in a little bit. So now we're getting them a reintroduction to them and seeing what they can do. Hopefully they get some time next week. Speaking on the SmackDown side of things with the wrestling, the tag team division, you had Faxium, you had the Motor City Machine Guns, you had DIY, you had the Street Profits, you had the Wyatt Six coming in.
Those Garzas.
You had Los Garzas. You had the FT.
MFT.
Too many abbreviations. MFT coming in. You have all these tags. It's like use these guys, especially when it's dragging weeks and stuff like that. Yeah. That's what they did with those guys with that tag team ladder match. I think they even had one on SmackDown, right? With the Street Profits and stuff like that. So it's like, there's time there to get these guys in there, and especially now.
Where are the Creed brothers? I don't know why they haven't been. I know, but it's like we don't even see. We see. We don't even see them.
They're probably. I guarantee you they probably just took them off TV because they're just like, all right, we need Chad Gable back. Let's just wait for Chad Gable and then we'll focus on the. As stupid as that sounds.
If anything, I think there should have been the storyline. The Creed brothers keep going after the tag team titles, come up short, and then when they finally win them, Chad Gable helps them win the title. And you continue the Alpha Academy on his side of things. Yeah. Or the Real America. What is it? Real America. I forgot what they called them.
See now, if anybody's gonna knock off AJ and Dragon Lee, with the story that you just put out there, it should be the Creed brothers now. Why are we not on the creative team? That was a perfect story. Literally, just have them keep going after them, keep losing, and then when they finally do it, it's because Chad Gable came back and helped. Like there's a story right
and
there.
Then have them just act like assholes. Simple. Simple. That's all you need to do with that. Let's keep moving on here. We have the Last Time Is Now tournament. We had LA Knight defeating Jey Uso in a highly anticipated matchup, and then we had Gunther putting on a banger with Solo Sikoa. What did you guys make of those two matchups there, especially with Jey Uso's outburst after losing to LA Knight?
Few minutes of a real Jey Uso, I thought, where he broke character and really let his emotions overtake him. I thought it was a real exhibition of anger, the way he erupted to the point that LA Knight almost broke character watching him. And those are things that I look for in year-end performances and how I think things are going as a wrestling analysis. And congrats to LA Knight. I mean, LA Knight has had a losing streak now, other than his title pickup for a few months. So I'm ready to see him win some more. And if he's the final guy against John Cena, more power to him. I don't think he will be, but I mean, realistically speaking, as much as I like him, but if he ends up being it, I think it would be a very athletic match between the two because LA Knight has a way of staying fresh looking no matter how long the match goes, and that's impressive.
Yeah, I'm just glad that LA Knight is just be at least being featured in the finals. I think I said it off the air that he really should have factored into the War Games match. I know there was the report that you brought up, Daniel, about injuries playing a role in that, but I just felt that he's been been feuding with the Vision for a long time as well too, and I just felt that that would have been the spot for him. So I'm glad that at least that he is being featured and being in the finals against Gunther. Now, as far as the Gunther and Solo match goes, I honestly think that was Solo's best match so far in WWE. And I was afraid that when they were going to go with this heel versus heel dynamic, how the match was going to play out. I was afraid the crowd wasn't going to be into it. That stylistically, because they kind of have similar styles, that it wasn't going to come off well. But it came off very good, and the finish was, I don't know about you guys, but the finish was funny to me. To see a heel do a dastardly thing to another heel, that's funny to me. That's hilarious.
Go
ahead, Louis. Sorry.
I think it's crazy that we haven't had. I feel like Solo hasn't had a match on TV in a while. So it's to see him. I feel like we haven't gotten that in a long time, and I think it was a good reminder to everyone what Solo can do and how good he is in the ring. And I like the clash between them. They're both, heavy hitters. Obviously, Solo's not as tall, but he's still he's built strong, and it just came off I can still take your hits. Yeah, you hit hard as hell, but you're not going to be tossing me around like you do some of these other guys or whatever, So I, for a small second, thought that I forget what they call them, Tala Tonga.
Yeah.
It's too close to Tama Tonga.
They
all have face paint now.
That's what that means.
Tonga.
I thought
you gotta say them in that order.
I thought for a short second that I thought he was gonna help Solo win, and actually pull it off. And I was like, oh, this is crazy if Gunther's actually not going to the finals. But great match, and the fact that he hit him with the low blow to win.
Yep. And the power bomb.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? Quick question: do we, with John Cena's last match, not to get off track, do we automatically assume that he's going to lose?
I think he wants it that way, though.
The rule I've always heard is that you lose on your way out. Undertaker, Ric Flair, supposedly. You're supposed to lose on your way out. You give the younger guy or whoever beat you the rub. That's what I normally.
So actually, Sonny, I actually wanted to after what Daniel just said. So I saw a quote from actually John Cena Sr., and he was talking about how in this case he feels that John should go over because in a sense he kind of already passed the torch when he lost the title to Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam, and with the way that went about it. I mean, I know it's kind of like an unwritten rule, but he just feels like, well, John should go out on top, and the torch was already passed at SummerSlam. So, in professional wrestling, is that one of those unwritten rules, or is it one of those things where it's kind of is it mandatory? Is it not mandatory? Like when a guy is going out, so that he has to lose on his way out.
At my time, in my in the ring time experience, it was 50-50. But, from the women to the men or the men to the women, it's always gone that way that they've lost at the end of their matches for whatever reason. I sort of didn't do that because I was on an up street climb during the time that I stepped out in what I thought was going to be a temporary timeout. But I would have lost on my way out proudly if that had been something that was told to me to do by a promoter. And that's who makes the final decision. And all of it's got to do with fanfare, popularity, and how in shape the wrestler is at the time he's stepping out.
Mm-hmm.
You got a man like Undertaker who's been in there for so many years, he's just conditioned up for it. He might not lose on his way out. Flair lost on his way out. And I think people, by a little bit, by narrow marginals, have hated Shawn Michaels ever since then. Some for taking out Flair. And Shawn Michaels even said in the ring in a moment of realness, I'm sorry for doing this to you. So and that's seen plainly on tape. But it's typically been my experience that it's up to the worker and how they feel about doing it. Some guys don't lose in their hometowns. You have Bret the Hitman Hart who whined if he lost in his hometown. And he and Vince McMahon had a feud for years about having him lose that many times. You've got Becky Lynch who lost. Is she on her way out or she's still in it? If she keeps on whining, chances are she's on her way out. So it's got a tit for tat. There's no right or wrong answer. It just depends on the mood of the promoter and what the guy's feeling at the time. But I think notoriously, Brian, by and large, they have lost the majority of the matches on their way out. And I think that's kind of sad after a lengthy career.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the inside of Sonny Cain. This is why he's on this show. Because I'm intrigued with stuff like that as far as like the business goes, like when guys are going out or not, because I've seen so many different examples. Some guys win, some guys don't, and that's one of those things I was always like interested in. Like, yep, this is why you're on the show, sir.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because it's like now we've been seeing how dominant Gunther's been in this tournament, like having these great matches, but just overcoming these young guys. And LA Knight kind of powering his way through this on the other side of the bracket. Now we got this finals with LA Knight versus Gunther. We've had those. We've had the history with LA Knight and John Cena. They tagged the team a couple years ago and stuff like that. And kind of they have a little bit of history there. I don't think he's ever crossed paths with Gunther on this stage, but it would be a mega match. It would be the ultimate babyface going up against the ultimate kind of old school throwback foreigner taking on the pride and joy of America and John Cena. It would be give that kind of throwback feel, ironically, in Washington, D.C. That patriotism right behind John Cena a little bit. You can kind of play on that old school type of booking. But with LA Knight, it could be an opportunity for LA Knight to jump into that spotlight that we've been wanting him to get in that type of main event that we feel like he can enter into and should be in that moment. But we'll see what happens with those two. But it's going to be a very intriguing matchup between those two. As for Jey Uso's outburst after the match, I was like, okay, maybe we can finally get this heel turn or whatever this is out of him going forward, because it's kind of been on the back burner for a while. So hopefully this gives a new development into his character. As for Solo Sikoa, I agree with Brian and Lewis, all you guys. This was his best match in WWE. And to hang with Gunther, again, I guess he's like the new measuring stick. If you can hang with Gunther, you can hang with anybody. But to see Solo in that light and really putting in the work, I think they fought for nearly 20 minutes in that match. Get that time. Was awesome to see Solo and Gunther going up against each other again. Two heels, difficult way to play off that match, and especially the ending of the match with Gunther hitting the low blow. I thought it was a nice touch, but it was only justice, right? Because Solo was cheating on his end, so you cheat that to get the win, right? So definitely interested to see what happens next week. Those two are going to be facing off next week for the finals, I guess. To face John Cena. I'm assuming that there's going, that's John Cena's last appearance, so I don't think he's going to be making any promos or anything like that. But definitely going to be interesting to see what happens down the pike with that. I'm trying to think of anything else happening on Raw. I don't think so. I think we're good there. But that's where we can lead off here for episode 131. Of course, as always, thank you for joining us, Sonny. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and X at Ring Takes. So check out those socials. We'll be uploading there weekly, daily, whatever the case may be. Thank you guys for joining me. And until next time, remember to always kick it on too.